I would like to address my first question to Mr. Johnson. In your testimony, you note that many countries pegged their own currency to ours, which effectively neutralizes any price advantage from a devalued dollar. Do you believe the U.S. should prompt these countries to cease manipulating their currency, or are there other alternatives you would recommend to promote U.S. exports?
Well, I think this is probably the largest export barrier to goods coming from Asia. The problem is not just China. It's a mercantilist export regime that have been set up for decades in the Far East by countries, not only China, Taiwan, Korea, Japan, Indonesia, India, Pakistan. Many of the export powerhouses have manipulated and controlled their currencies in order to gain an export advantage. And until we get that under control, we're simply not going to be able to export and take advantage of these rapidly growing markets like we should. I think Alan Greenspan and Federal Chairman Bernanke have both said this is an export subsidy. H.R. 242, the Ryan-Hunter Act, will allow injured U.S. companies to file countervailing duty cases against countries that manipulate their currency. It's an export subsidy. We should have tools to defend ourselves from it. I think if we get those tools, it will encourage those countries, because the U.S. market is still the biggest market in the world, to allow their currencies to float and to allow free markets to prevail, to finally prevail.
You don't think we have tools at our disposal at this time that the U.S. government can use to pressure those countries in terms of the manipulation of their currency?
Absolutely not. I mean, the U.S. government can and should file a WTO case because
Correct.
This is an illegal subsidy. The Bush administration has refused.
How many have this administration have filed?
I think it's been filed 3 times and by members of Congress as well. And if after the first filing, we would be at the decision point at the WTO right now if that case had gone through, because I think it's been 3 years. So